Hey guys, Sometimes Crazy here, back with another YouTube video, and in this video I just want to talk about something cool that I found on the internet. Now some people will probably already know about this, and it's the fact that using myheritage.com you can recolor old black and white photographs. Now I was actually already signed up to myheritage.com, like fully paid for by accident. I accidentally left the subscription open from that like animating photographs that kind of went sort of viral a few months ago. But I just came across a random YouTube video that was comparing recoloring programs, and myheritage.com came first. So I was like, you know what? I've got black and white photos that I want to colour, and I feel like it'd be a cool thing to do. So I messed around a bit with some family photos and things like that, and I mean they looked okay. Definitely not like the sort of things that I was thinking I was going to get, but then I realised that it really does depend on the quality of input photo. So for example, here is a recoloration of somewhere in England. It looks pretty cool, right? It looks pretty good. And then here is the pub that's in my village in England. That this photo was taken around the turn of the century, and you can see that the quality of the recolor is just so much better, and that's because obviously it was a higher quality image going in, and therefore it's a higher quality image going out. So with this new knowledge that it wasn't going to be all perfect, I decided to recolor the photographs in my favourite book of all time. So my favourite book of all time is a book called In Search of El Dorado by Alexander Macdonald, published in 1905. I own, I think, the second or third edition, which was published in about 1920-ish, I think, from what I remember. And I got this book about 5 years ago at a car boot sale for like 50p. The book itself, as you can imagine, is basically falling apart because it's, almost, if not over 100 years old at this point. But throughout the book, there are photographs taken by Alexander Macdonald, because this is an autobiographical work. Now, Alexander Macdonald was a gold prospector. He was one of the first people to lead an expedition into the Yukon, which is like the northern regions of Canada where you find gold. And he also spearheaded quite a few missions into the Australian outback looking for gold, but then also experiencing things like opal miners and pearl divers. He really was actually quite an influential man from what I found out towards like the sort of mining community, but you just cannot find out anything about him. In fact, I've never seen a colour photograph of him. So I decided, I found a PDF scan of this book, and I went through and got all the photos that are there and ran them through this coloration thing. I'm not sure if anyone's done this before, but for all I know, this is going to be the first, colour photographs of this man. Other than obviously his, he lived until I think it was like 1960, so his family is going to have photographs of him. But something to note though, before we go into this, is that the photographs aren't the best of quality. Now, the reason for this is that I can make them sharper using myheritage.com. However, it really messes up faces and it blurs a lot of things. It doesn't look good. The photos themselves aren't in the best condition. Now you've got to remember that, again, these are scans from a book that's over 100 years old. Not only that, but the photos that were taken were on not the professional grade cameras, but also the film would not have been stored in the correct conditions. If he's coming back from Canada, he was Scottish, so if he was coming back from Canada or Australia to Scotland, there's going to be a long time that this film is going to be exposed to conditions that it just isn't designed for. So it would have probably deteriorated in that time as well. But without further ado, I'm going to let the music roll and the images play, and you can see for yourself.